and make it good for good. We're live. At least this is what the tool is saying. I'm joined today by Nathan, straight from Australia. We can solve the puzzle right now for the people who are discussing in the YouTube channels. What time is it on your end right now?
It is 9:32 on Friday night.
Friday night. So you can easily predict future for my Friday night today.
Yeah, Friday's good day.
Yeah, it's a very good day. Callum is away today. He's traveling to France, if I'm correct, and probably a lot of London Umbraco community members are away today because there was a massive meetup yesterday, from what I saw. We'll be talking about it today. How are you, Nathan? How was your week, by the way?
Yeah, another week. You know, it's nearly the end of February already.
Oh yeah, that's scary.
I know. It was the start of January. It feels like a week ago. But it's keeping busy.
Yeah, we were telling it from the beginning of the month that this is the shortest month of the year, and it's not by accident. And it's already ended. And there is a lot of things upcoming in the next month. We will be crawling through them today as well. So it's good to have you here. We can start from celebration, because it's talking about time, how it flies, and stuff like that. We can get back to the memory which Niels shared on Monday, if I'm correct. It was a 15th birthday of Umbraco project, and this picture reminds about the times when it was released in the first version for the open source. It's amazing, 15 years, and it's something like that. The step like done by some developers changed so many lives, and ours included, right?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people whose entire careers effectively are built around Umbraco. So they I hope they celebrated.
Yeah, they were celebrating. I'm more than sure
offices look a bit better now too.
Yeah, there's probably more people involved right now.
Yeah.
But it's good. A lot of people confirmed the thoughts that Umbraco changed their life, changed their professional career. So it's amazing to see the output like that. So happy birthday, Umbraco! Keep and all the best for the next at least 15 years, because we are all looking forward for more. Talking about changes, how Umbraco evolves, we've been teased with the product update straight from HQ. Straight from Runa, and another release candidate version is out. It's 8.6 with some great improvements, great features, and also forms updates for what people were looking for and asking for, and class changes and roadmap updates. Nathan, you've been following those updates. What's the most interesting part for you from this list?
I think it's really good to see forms getting some love.
Yeah.
I think with so many other things going on, I think forms sometimes gets a little bit forgotten. So yeah, nice to see it.
But I'm also sure that you are interested in the RFCs and new discussions around, especially package formats, I would say, because there are some new requests for comments and contributions, of course, and the one which was probably the biggest one popping out recently is the new package format, because there were a lot of discussions about NuGet everything, how Umbraco package ecosystem works, and right now, as Umbraco has package team, plus is going to work on changes or around .NET Core for Umbraco, it's a perfect moment to standardize it and maybe make some changes, which will be major, of course, but will help us all to work on Umbraco and extend Umbraco in a great way. And Nathan, you've been involved in a lot of package development activities. What are your thoughts about this discussion? Did you participate in the discussion already, or?
I haven't yet. I've read through the RFC. I want to read it again before I comment on anything, just to make sure I'm talking sense. But I mean, as far as having a single standardized package format, I mean, that's a huge win, because I think as packages start to there's some really, really complex, large packages starting to be being developed and released. I think you want something a little bit more robust than downloading and uploading a zip file.
Yeah.
So I think if we can, like you said, if we can NuGet all the things, it's consistent. Then if you're doing it via the back office and it's under the hood, it's a NuGet type install versus doing it in Visual Studio and it's NuGet. Sweet, as long as it's consistent and doesn't add. Like I'd hate to see lots of complexity added. You don't want it to be a complicated process for people who might be new to doing package works. You want that to sort of, as much as possible, just work.
Yeah, I think it's the biggest challenge is here because a lot of people were used to creating packages from Umbraco back office, deciding what is exported, what is included, and done. That works, and it wasn't requiring any development knowledge, right? For distributing content across installations like that, and that might be the challenging part because for us developers who are Visual Studio users, NuGet is a thing. But then it comes to people like that, and I referring to the RFC's content. Also, the challenge is to give ability to run code within the Umbraco context on install and uninstall. And it was a problematic change right now for people, for example, who were even using Rider for development. They were installing Umbraco, and there is a code which is tightly coupled with the way how Visual Studio fires up the package after deployment, after installation. And yeah, that's a lot of things to be fixed and covered, but it's only done for better experience for
absolutely. And I think anything that can be done to sort of flatten that out, that whole packaging process, and make it simpler and more consistent, I think is a great thing. I was looking at, I can't remember what it was. I was doing some updates to a package through the week, and the build process that I'm using is, I haven't changed it in about 4 years. So it's not using all the latest and greatest tooling, but it's a process that works. It's completely automatic. It just runs. So the idea of being able to have a similar sort of experience for everybody and standard and consistent, I think is fantastic. It's just making sure that we get to the right solution.
Yeah, and Dimitri asked just on YouTube live chat that will package format change to V7, and that's up to discussions right now. It's in the state of commenting out and discussing what needs to be changed and how it can change to make Umbraco vNext, because V8 still works on the same package format right now. V8 and vNext experience for package devs and Umbraco users better. So it will definitely change, but it's not known how yet, right?
Yeah, you could end up then with potentially 2 different package formats, because I wouldn't think that there'd be anything done for V7. I would have thought it would be only forward facing. So
and especially for the core version, I would say, because that would be where all the dependencies and all the chains of those dependencies are really important and possible to be handled easier when Umbraco will be ready for that. Speaking about .NET Core, there are new things in the next section of a roadmap, and this is the back office operational on .NET Core and front-end rendering done with .NET Core, which is a milestone or the next step to bring us all closer to .NET Core, all the things, and I think it's a very good step ahead, because if we will have back office operational, we can separate it from the front-end layer and then work with fancy frameworks on front end and just use it for the backend. We have a helper on your end.
Super helpful. Those are 2 fairly large items in that roadmap, having the back office working and content rendering. I mean, it's awesome. It's great. They're it's good to see big, visible things happening.
Exactly. I had the whole week like that, but with my daughter who was sick. So all of my week looked like that. But yeah, that's great. And speaking about those things and those changes, nothing will probably be possible without help of the community and people who are doing a great job. And we've been also informed about some changes around the old PR team, which is right now named Core Collaborator Team. And Sebastian wrote a first chronicles from the new named team, but the team purposes are mostly the same. And as a too long don't read summary, it's worth to mention that it's not only name changed, but also Ken Jacobson joined the team and will support the team with his crazy amount of pull requests and elements handled weekly. It is, in my opinion, a great addition to the team. And there are some new ways of communicating with the team. And there is a new workspace, Slack workspace, where everybody can join and see the progress of things being handled by the core collaborator team, which is great. And yeah, that's the changes around the team. And there is a new workflow defined really in depth here in the blog post, which of course will be linked in the video description. What are your thoughts about the core contributions? Did you have any contributions this year to the core?
Yeah, I've had a few bits and pieces going in. I love that spike in the chart from
yeah, exactly.
October. That's massive. But that's the whole point of Oktoberfest, isn't it? Is to see those contributions. So that's awesome. I feel a little bit sorry for the guys on the other end having to deal with them all. What was it 300 pull requests?
More than 350. Yeah,
that's
crazy.
Huge. Yeah,
but as you know, that's the issue which hopefully every open source maintainer wants to have. but it's definitely an extremely hard to maintain it and to make it efficient in releases and all the merges and testing stuff around it. And I think that the team definitely helped a lot. And we've seen the community version released after that, which is awesome. And I'm sure that it will be working well for the team, and all the new teams are right now learning from what this team accomplished during the way, which is also great to see.
They get through a lot of work, those guys. Like, there's a lot more people pushing changes in than there are in that team people to be dealing with and merging all those changes. So they do incredibly well to keep up.
Yeah, and still we can observe that new people are joining the Umbraco code base, people who were not contributing or doing any work earlier, which is also a good sign for growing, and keep them coming and keep people informed, and I know make their life easy to join the contribution, and that's the goal also for the team, and it's working well and better definitely than it was in the past. So yeah, that's about updates straight from Umbraco HQ. We have some events upcoming and also being performed during this week. We are both being awarded by big selections from the speakers proposals for the Code Garden, which is the biggest event in Umbraco ecosystem. So yeah, how was your process? How many talks you submitted, and how it was looking from your side?
I was a 1-from-1 success rate. I submitted 100%. 100%. No, I'm really looking forward to it. That'd be really good.
Yeah, the whole lineup looks amazing, and it will be updated every week, hopefully. And Vera wrote also a great highlight of the current speakers announcement and some of the faces of them and personas behind the speakers to bring maybe more knowledge for everybody who was not aware who Scott Hanselman is, or what talk will Debbie deliver and stuff like that. So which is good, and I really like to understand some of the purposes and ideas behind the talks and participations. Great talk last year from Morten and the hardcore team with the tacos included. I really enjoyed that. Not only tacos, but the talk content as well. So yeah, great poster link. I believe that there will be more blog posts like that. So for everybody who wants to learn more about speakers and events organized by Umbraco, blog posts is here. And also about Code Garden, I don't know if you've seen some of the pictures shared by Niels about the possibly new merchandise for Code Garden this year. Some great underwear for a little Umbraco representatives for the future, and socks, which is, I don't know, it's funny because yesterday I was preparing some report for what's popular in the Google searches and the Google trends around programming, and in United States, programming socks were in the top 5 search terms. So I don't know if Niels found the great business opportunity here, or is another branch of income for Umbraco project. But that's amazing to see socks. I have socks from Gitkraken as well, and there is a movement around it. So it's great to see it in Umbraco community. That's great. And Umbraco Spark is closer and closer. It's 2 weeks from now, and I just wanted to highlight, because we've been talking about Spark a lot, a great promotional video from today. I was literally blown away. It's great effort, great combination of words to promote the event and to proudly deliver information that only 5 tickets left. If they are still left, buy them. Visit Umbraco Spark. I will be there talking. There will be Callum and a lot of other speakers, including John Skid and some other fancy tech people who will deliver their best knowledge for Umbraco community in Bristol, gathered in Bristol.
And that's awesome to see too. That in their second year.
And it's kind of different type of the event than standard festivals, right? Because it's more like looking on the future and some extension points and technologies which are helpful in Umbraco ecosystem, other than what you can still do with Umbraco or what's done already, something like totally technology oriented, totally looking forward on great upcoming years for Umbraco ecosystem. Another event which is highlighting some news for us this week is Umbraco US Fest on another part of the world again. And there is a schedule published, so everyone who is interested can see what talks are going to be delivered there, who is talking. There are some interesting and not delivered yet talk about web accessibility, some UX for people, and Heather, for example, will be talking about cloud baselines, which was a hot topic on Twitter in the past weeks, and some HQ talks, of course, and information which was shared as well is that there is a security training delivered by HQ, and it's 50% off on the day before a festival, which is also another great talk. And yeah, you can see it here, April 1 to 3rd in Chicago, Illinois. Great event. And meetups. Time for meetups. How's the community? How's the community in Australia, Nathan?
It's not quite as large as the community in the UK. We do a meetup in Brisbane, so it's about an hour away from where I am. And that's sort of, I think they do 3 or 4 a year. It's reasonably well attended, and it's growing. So, and that's only been running since it was the start of this time last year, or the year before. I don't even know what year it is. But yeah, I mean, it's growing. It's absolutely growing, but and I think we struggle a bit too, just because everyone's so far apart. It's a big old country, so it's difficult to guess a good group, like a decent sized group of people together.
Yeah, but it's interesting because we were almost joined by Peter Gregory as well today, who is traveling somewhere right now for the week off. But also there is a Stefan saying hi on YouTube chat from Australia. So it's definitely growing, and it's interesting to see. But yeah, definitely there is more meetups going on in this part of the globe, and we were highlighting them last week, but we also saw some pictures from yesterday meetup in London where Purnima were talking about some V8 changes, and someone replied that this was a half of bridging courses combined to one talk, which is great probably to see and observe. And also the Ross Chapman was talking about design belongs at the leadership table. I'm curious what was the talk really about, but great content, and I saw that the discussions were happening for a long time after the meetup, so I'm sure that it was interesting. And there was also a Bristol 10th birthday of Bristol community, and the only picture which I could possibly found about this event was this picture from Lee Kelleher, showing the Bristol version of HQ Campari lampshade. So I expect more information about this event, but it looks like it was great and very good to see that. And also Carol shared some information about Glasgow meetup and what they've done during the live coded session. So they live coded Umbraco APIs and made a wee Alexa skill on one meetup, which is a nice combination of usage of Umbraco, I presume V8 or headless, in combination with Alexa. And everybody who attended this meetup probably learned a lot from that. Upcoming meetups. Quickly about upcoming meetups, to not miss any of them. Belgian meetup group, Umbraco meetup group is having meetup on February 25. The day after that, there is a New York City meetup, show and tell, hosted by Heather in New York City. And I don't know if it's the first Stuttgart meetup or not the first one, but Mark is hosting the meetup in Stuttgart on Thursday, February 27th. So this is upcoming meetups. If we missed something, once again, apologize. They are all listed in the Umbraco community on our. Hopefully you will be able to find the closest ones to you if you have more of them to choose from. Packages. Nathan, if I have you here, we've been discussing and trying to find out what's your latest package is doing or is going to do. So I will use you right now and ask you, tell us more about the new package you've been working on, and the name of it is Preserver.
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 That one,
yeah.
That came out. There was a question asked in one of the Slack channels around it was something around, restoring content if your browser crashed or your laptop exploded and you lost this piece of content that you might have been working on for hours and crafting into something really amazing. And obviously there's not anything that does that sorry, the dog's just having a little tail chasing. She's not the smartest animal. So obviously there's nothing in core to do that sort of content retrieval type idea unless you've saved it. It's essentially a JavaScript. It's an Angular, not a directive. It is a property editor, but it hides itself, and it just every few seconds, 10 or 15 seconds, I think it is, it essentially takes a snapshot of the node that you're editing, throws it into local storage in your browser, and then if you navigate away without saving and come back, it does a little check to see if the freshly loaded content is different to what it's got stored. And if they're different, it offers to restore the stored version. So it's, highly well, I don't think it would happen that often that, your power goes out in the middle of editing a page or anything like that. But if it does, and you have that package installed, it'll be sweet. You can restore it. Yeah. So it's just interesting. It's a little bit of fun, when you see those sorts of discussions going on, and you can say, oh, actually, there's an idea in that, and you can turn it into something pretty quickly.
Yeah, but also that's one of the topics which we were connecting with Signal R work and ideas of work being done around simultaneously editing editors and content being pushed to database from various sources, which can be another approach, because you have your content locally. You then are saving it only once, and the races are happening only then, if at all. But I thought you might. Sorry.
We get caught out by that sometimes at work when we've got potentially multiple people suddenly decide they all want to edit the same page, and you end up with, again, it's like a race condition, but it's caused by your editors, and people end up saving over someone else's work, or they come back to a page that someone else has worked on in the interim and they save their changes. So it'd be nice to do, saying some Signal R type magic to let people know that someone else is working on that page or has made changes while you've been in it.
Yeah, that's why I thought you might be using SignalR for this, but as you've said, the idea is that simple and clever that it's not needed to have a server communication, because it's all on the client level, which is a really interesting approach, I would say. Is it released already? Because I can't remember if the version is.
Yeah, I think so. I think I released it.
I think so. Yeah. We've been showing it, so it's probably on our.
Oh yeah, no, I did, because it's on ours somewhere, because I spent 2 seconds in Photoshop making an icon for it. So yes, it should be on our.
Cool. So we all need to play around and see if that's something what our editors are looking for or in the need for. That's great. So high five VROC for delivering it, and one step closer to this simultaneously editing process, hopefully, awesome. which was a hot topic in the past. Cool. Another package creators were also not lazy this week. Starting from Kevin Jam, who was constantly bumping the new versions of using last week's. He also wrote this blog post and summary about the new agency license for using Complete, which was something what was discussed by agencies and companies, and even Kevin said that he was asked a lot about it, which is good and great, because a lot of agencies will be using as they do on every project which they are running, and having more than 2 projects already make it more profitable and clever to go with the agency license. So everybody who was interested in using in more projects, there is a new way of buying license, and there is a new license for agencies, which is great. And from Package World, Ian Houghton shared the updated version of Umbraco Nukesh Explorer package after contributing with Nick, who spotted the Azure hosting issue. So there's a new version of Nukesh Explorer here. Anders released the new version of Redirects package, constantly upgrading this package to become better and better every week, almost. And we've been teased by Patrick, who started work on task schedule dashboard. And I sent everybody to this Twitter discussion. Callum was very proactive here, sharing his concerns about running background tasks from the same thread or application, and introducing some serverless ideas and functions to take care of that. And that's a great topic, because I've seen the Hangfire discussions in the past. Some of the packages who are doing background tasks in various ways. So I think there is a lot of possible ways of doing that. So hopefully we'll be seeing what Patrick will deliver. And you said that it's interesting. Did you had any chance to do some background scheduled tasks in your work?
I do. There's a scheduled task that runs in the V8 version of Plumber to do some license check stuff. So it runs it's on like a 24-hour or 23-hour schedule, because it only needs to run effectively once a day, probably not even that often. And it just does a ping off to a licensing server just to do some validation stuff. And that's just using the built-in Umbraco task runner. As far as I know, it runs.
no errors, no reports. It works. Silence is confirming that it works.
Absolutely.
And Sotiris just joined us on time, because we were going to highlight his release from this week, which is an auto-node package for V8 version of Umbraco. And that was a really cool package, cool small improvement for Umbraco, handling back office and specific document types by auto node package, and great to see it's for V8. So big high five VROC Sotiris for the work you've done with that. And that's all about packages, as far as I know. So a lot of new releases, a lot of new stuff, and the last section of things which I wanted to highlight is around some other things in Umbraco community. I spotted some of the really interesting threads. Warren started a cool thread on Twitter. I don't know if you've seen that, with Umbraco workspaces, with its own hashtag even. It's also I really like to see how other people are working, what they are using, what tools they are using, what's their setup, and there's your setup here. Yeah, that's great to see it all. And some discussions, some insights about stuff people are using, and also devices, which is cool. So if you want to share your workspace and you want to get it improved or discussed by community members, do it. I didn't even know that there are so many of them. Oh, so there is once again. Great. So do you plan to upgrade your workspace in the near future?
I'd like to get a decent chair.
Yeah, I remember I was commending your chair somewhere in the past because I invested in this chair, and this chair saved my back. That's true story, confirmed. No more words to be added to that. So yeah, chair is the most important thing. All the other fancy stuff is less important. Cool. So join this thread. And another thread about Umbraco and integrations with the other tools. Matt Brailsford shared the poll about e-commerce, let's say e-commerce state with Umbraco, but without an answer with the 0 solutions made with Umbraco and e-commerce, which was my answer, I would say.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, Ilika answered 0 here with 4 likes, so I assume 4 answers is for 0. But yeah, it looks like there are not so many Umbraco integrations with e-commerce systems because maybe there's a need for having this e-commerce system to be more advanced or more simple to be integrated, which Matt Brailsford, of course, and the whole vendor is probably going to address, which is interesting insight. And another thing which I was spotted yesterday is the State of .NET Performance survey shared by my friends from Poland from .NET organization, which is focused around .NET performance. And there is a long survey about asking a lot about performance and .NET in general. And we can help them by answering those questions to polish and shape their offer and informational content, which they will be sharing through their events in the next months, hopefully. Oof, that's it. And Umbraco stuff again, roundtable discussion. It's happening in 2 weeks. I will just confirm. Yeah, the day before Umbraco Spark. And what I wanted to highlight today about it is that there is an agenda being shared. So what the team discussing around the round or square table this time will be discussing. So how attract new people to contribute and join the Umbraco community. How to adjust or invent new formats for various things, and how to measure community engagement.
I think that's important, that last point, because as soon as you can measure something and make it more tangible, you can put more value and more weight on it. Whereas, like at the moment, we know that there's lots of community engagement. The community is great, but if you can sort of formalize that and say and almost say this is why and this is how it's really good, I think that suddenly adds like another layer of almost another layer of maturity, or a bit more maturity to what we already know. If that makes any sense.
That's really important. And also it was around discussion of how people should be awarded and how it brings Umbraco to the better state by people's contribution, not by just ideas thrown around and stuff like that. So all in the hands of and minds of the people who will be attending roundtable. And as it's open source, we'll be also informed about the progress and output of this meeting after that. For a final reminder to join the documentation creators teams today. The submissions and apply process is ending today. That's almost last thing. And the last thing is a blog post on Owen's MVP series. And this time it's about Emma Garland, another great MVP and senior software engineer from Bristol, by the way, and a lot of information and questions being answered by Emma in this blog post series in Owen's blog. All of the links for those things which we highlighted today will be listed down below. And that was a massive list of things to
There is a lot going on.
Yeah, there is a lot of things going on. Yeah. We are all looking forward for the next upcoming releases, announcements, and things in Umbraco community. Nathan, do you want to add anything else to the list discussed today?
I think those of us on this side of the world start to get a bit jealous this time of year when we start seeing what's happening in there's a lot going on in the UK and Europe, all building and leading into Code Garden in was about 90, 95, 96 days or whatever it is. It was 98 days earlier in the week. Yeah, so it's all starting to, it feels like it's coming into that time of year again, which is great.
Yeah, you will be the Australia's ambassador in Cold Garden world. But that's great. It's always great to catch up, and yeah, even if it's once per year on events like that, it's all gathering there. That's the most really interesting part. If you are feeling that you are missing stuff on various events, meetups, festivals, and stuff like that, Cold Garden is the place where you can gather it all together, and then just wait for the next year. So we will be probably discovering it all there. Final invitation for people who didn't buy tickets yet. I don't know if it's ended, but there was a period for discounted price once again. Probably it's ended, but if not, go and buy it.
Are they still discounted, but not as I think like the super early bird might be finished, but they're still not full price. I don't think. Yeah. Even if they are, it's absolutely worth it. So get on it.
Cool. So yeah, hopefully we'll see people from various places on the meetups. There was some answers for our live questions. Bosra confirmed that it was V8 on the GLAG meetup, and Sydney meetup runs every second month, alternating with Midwell.
Robert,
that's great. Yeah.
I knew that. It's late on Friday. I forgot.
Cool, Nathan. So thank you very much for joining me today, and I hope you will be enjoying the rest of your Friday's evening in Australia, and we'll see each other really soon.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you all for watching us, and see you on the next umbraCoffee next Friday. Cheers.